Okay, so I'll just finish up from now with the whole thing. The introduction thing is to say that um, I saw Mary Quinn, my therapist, 3 times in October before I saw my psychiatrist, because that's their protocol. That's how they do things there. But if you don't stick with your therapy, you don't get meds. So of course, from the first moment I was there, I was like begging them, because I'd been off medications for 3 months. And I was telling them that I was so afraid with the rages that I would do something to hurt myself. By then, the thing with the police had already happened, and I was terrified that I would do something to get in more trouble, even though I didn't do anything in the first place, as you know. Or even worse, I was afraid I might hurt my mom. But I had to hang in there and wait. But after the third time I saw Mary Quinn, I saw Dr. Hauser, and I told him about the nightmare of all the different medications and back and forth with Dr. Sachs, constantly tweaking it and that, and never being stable. So anyway, he put me on Seroquel, which actually was one of the medications I was taking with Dr. Sachs, but it was in a smaller dosage, and it was really just at bedtime to help me sleep. Whereas Dr. Hauser thought that he could get me, I don't know, some level of stability on it. And I had just gotten on, I'd just been approved for SSI. And so I got my proactive payment or whatever from over 2 years of back pay. And I wanted to do a bunch of redecorating in the house. And that kind of all coincided at the same time. Well, within 3 days of being on Seroquel, it was like a miracle. I was like a whole new person. I was like more myself than I'd ever been in my life. And I was motivated and excited and energetic, and I was getting so much done, and I really dove into the redecorating project, and I did things that I would have never thought I was capable of. I could not believe how much I was getting done, and I don't know, I was cheerful, I was going out, I wanted to go out, and then one of my sisters and her daughter came to stay. They were meant to stay for a few months, but she's got her whole set of problems. She's kind of a flake, but anyway, she was only here 3 days, and we had a huge blowout. And but actually, I was really fairly well in control of my anger. I was really proud of myself, actually. I mean, I was angry, but it was controlled. I didn't, Anyway, she left. And so, to me, that was like a failure. That, once again, I've ruined a relationship, and I took it really hard. And I kind of was down for a pretty good week after that. And then my father said, why don't you come out to Montana for Thanksgiving? I used to live there as well. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea, because, I had really looked forward to having more family for a holiday for a change. It's usually just Mom and I, and, we don't really make a big deal out of it when it's just us. And I just wanted to have that feeling again, the holidays. So we went to Montana. We almost died twice in Wyoming. We almost wrecked. It was pretty scary, but but I was okay, I coped with it, so that's good, right? And then so we went there, and we were there for a few days. We came back, and we were home for about 2 weeks, and then I just backslid hard. I went deep into the hole again, and I was so frustrated. I just wanted to be back how I was in October and November when I felt so great, and God, that was such a great time. So they bumped up my Seroquel a little bit, just a little bit, because I still hadn't gotten my prescription covered yet, and I had used all the funds allotted to me through the indigency program. So I was like begging, borrowing, stealing, to get my meds. And so they only bumped it up a little, and 2 weeks went by, no improvement. And then he bumped it up 200 milligrams the last time I saw him. And he had added a ADD medicine for me a couple months ago. And that helps a little bit. I don't take as much of it as I'm supposed to, because it kills my appetite completely, which is great because I have a fat ass. But at the same time, then I don't eat all day, and at 9 o'clock I start stuffing my face with junk food. So I take a little bit less than what he prescribed. Anyway, it's been almost 2 weeks since he bumped up my Seroquel to 2. So it's like a total of 600 milligrams a night now. And I saw Mary Quinn, my therapist, last week, and she said when I see Dr. Hauser, and the first, it's like the 1st or 2nd of March I see him, that's very likely he'll bump that again, and probably even add an additional medicine. So here we go again. I asked Mary, I said, I don't understand, it worked so good at first. And I said, is it because, I had been off any kind of medication for like 3 months? And she said, no, I don't think it was the medicine at all. She said, she thinks that I just had a real wicked hypomanic, episode during that time period. It just coincided, coincidentally with when I started the new medicine. So it's kind of discouraging, disheartening. Because I saw light at the end of the tunnel. I started thinking about taking some classes, getting a job, being a regular person again. It's like that trick they do with the tablecloth. They pull it off, and everything stays on the table where it was. I know, it's all temporary. This too shall pass. I know. Hey, when I come back for fun, we'll look at some pictures.